The Sweet Sound of Success show is brought to you by the Mentor Studio. The Mentor Studio is an exclusive mentoring and training program for social influencers, business owners, entrepreneurs, coaches, and startups, bringing personal development to the underserved around the world. And brought to you by Success Strategists. Simple strategies that work to develop your business with flow and ease using proven strategies and the right tactics. This is the Sweet Sound of Success with Sue Wilhite, Success Attraction Expert. Daniel John Hanneman has an extensive background as a professional counselor and a certified hypnotherapist, with combined business and professional backgrounds in energy scanning, energy clearing, spiritual life coaching, intuitive business coaching, channeling, and metaphysics. He has a best-selling book series. He has co-authored the book, Wake Up, Live the Life You Love, Living in Abundance, which featured internationally renowned legends, including Tony Robbins, Dr. Wayne Dyer, and Dr. Michael Beckwith. Daniel is also the creator of Your Sacred Purpose, that is unleashing the hidden greatest potential within world-changing empaths, healers, and spiritual entrepreneurs who get to love all of themselves, including their full power, greatest gifts, their truest purpose, and the ability to deepen the awakening of their consciousness on the planet while enjoying profound money success. Welcome, Daniel. Woohoo!
Woohoo! Oh, it's so much fun. I'm glad to be here with you, Sue. It's just so much fun to be with you.
Oh, well, we chatted earlier, and we're going to have to be careful not to go down the rabbit hole, because we can definitely start talking metaphysics. We can start talking business. We can start talking. We could just go down multiple rabbit holes.
And a nice 10-hour show. You told me 10 hours, right?
Yeah. We're going to try to keep it to the topic at hand, which is partly why I created a structure to this. And for those of my guests who don't know what the structure is, the subtitle of this show is The Hero's Journey for the Entrepreneur's Soul. And I'm using the backbone and only a certain vertebrae of the backbone from Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey cycle. And the pieces that I'm taking out are the ordinary beginning. No entrepreneur has an ordinary beginning, by the way. The call to action. What brought you to the whole entrepreneurial joy of life? And big hairy monsters. Now, big hairy monsters tend to, especially in spiritual entrepreneurs, heart-centered entrepreneurs, sometimes the big hairy monsters and the call to action kind of merge, and it becomes a little hard to untangle them. But then new ones pop up. Right? We always get to play with the big hairy monsters and find out what dance steps they've learned. And then, in order to help deal with the big hairy monsters, one hero needs more than one helper. So there are allies, guides, mentors, coaches, wizards, elves, whoever it is that helps you along the way and keeps you from going crazy and perhaps guides you back to a slightly better path. And then the other thing that I think is fascinating about the entrepreneur's journey is what Joseph Campbell calls the journey home. And it's, how do other people in your life deal with being an entrepreneur, deal with you being an entrepreneur? One of my coaches called it being a twig going upstream. People don't necessarily understand what you're doing. And how does that work? Some people are lucky enough to be born into a family of entrepreneurs where they're expected to do this. Some people, entrepreneurs, are very suspicious characters. And exactly what do you do? And how do you spell that? We get to ask Daniel, what was your ordinary beginning?
Wow. Yeah, my ordinary beginning, I guess for me, yeah, like you said, there are no ordinary beginnings. I did grow up in a suburban area, middle class and all that good stuff. And I was a shy kid, so I was very much to myself. But when I was very, very young, I naturally just felt like I could make things happen. I would try to manipulate the energy on traffic lights and stuff to try to get things to happen. So I was always sitting there doing a few things every once in a while here and there, working with the invisible field. No one told me to do that. I just was doing it, and it was just something that connected for me. So I kind of started there, and I felt very different than other people. To this day, I'm still that way. I was just at a party a couple of days ago, and it's like everybody's, it's a wine party. Everybody's talking this and that, and I'm just sitting there like a wallflower in a place like that because I'm like, whatever. I might get into it after a while, like introverts do, right? But yeah, I struggled a lot. I had a lot of anxiety, depression. Saw a psychiatrist while I was going through high school, through all that. I told him I could move objects, I could probably blow them up and everything. And like, all he said is, oh, classic. She literally said, very interesting, very interesting. And the next thing I know, it's bipolar, delusions of grandeur, and the med pad came out. So you learn pretty quick. You don't tell them, what's really going on for yourself. You give them, it's only so much that they can handle, right? And then see if they can help you from there. So at that point is when I just really felt like I actually just felt like I had so much ability. I used to tell my friends I have this power. I can do things. I can make things happen. And they laugh at me. And then next time we'd be wrestling around, I'd take one of them and throw them up on a snowbank or something. I'm like, I told you I got power. Don't question me. Wrestle around on the ice on the pond. I take my friend down as a similar size and strength. 25 out of 25 times down on the ice. So, okay, what's going on? Yeah, I told you I've got this power. And so it showed up in these little ways, nothing really, I mean, it sounds spectacular, some of the stories, but like, okay, whatever, we're just kids messing around. So, but I knew there was something going on with it. And then the next thing that happened is I just started getting into creative writing. And so that helped open up my channeling energy, I think, right there. And then I got a degree in psychology because I wanted to be more practical than doing creative writing and all that sort of stuff. But I mean, basically, if we just go from the very beginning, I was shy. My sister's 5 years older than me. She was a dramatic mess after she got past 8th grade. So I was just a young prince and I could do no wrong. Yet I got bad grades in school, but nobody hassled me. And I was just kind of floating around, not doing a whole lot, really. I did actually get into vandalism and all kinds of weird stuff like that. But, basically I felt like a rebel and I didn't feel like I knew what my cause was yet. So that's where I started. I don't know how much more you want me to get into it. So.
Yeah. So you were an introverted rebel.
Yeah, totally. I mean,
right?
That was where the rebellion energy went. It was to vandalism because I'm like, screw all this. It's all a bunch of nonsense. It just happened to come out that way, right?
Right.
So that's how I always thought about school. It's all a bunch of nonsense. This isn't really that helpful.
Right. So what was your call to action? What brought you into being an entrepreneur? What light bulb went off for you?
Yeah, well, my parents had businesses, although they were a little bit more like employees than businesses. Like my dad had various customers, but he had one main customer, and then my mom had basically one main customer. A couple other little jobs here and there would come in she was with accounting, he was with lawn maintenance. And so I always saw one of the things that's my big thing is when I see like potential that's not realized. I saw like they did okay. Like my dad barely got by, but my mom did okay with her business. But I always saw more potential. So it really kind of riled me up. I'm like, no, there's more you could do. Why aren't you advertising? Why aren't you selling? Oh, we don't want to advertise. And so we don't like that. Right. So I was like, no, you should be doing that. Then so that sparked me eventually as I got out of when I got out of college, because I was in my shell in college. I started coming out of it, and then I really wanted to come out of it. I went into outside sales out of college, and I started doing hundreds of cold calls a week selling copiers. And then they even put me on like, with telemarketing and all that. And then, I am pretty good at that stuff, but I wasn't very good at selling copiers, though. I mean, I didn't care about copiers, but they kept me. I was always good at persuading my employers at the time at, hey, we're going to get them next time. They could feel my energy, my power, they're like, oh yeah, let's do it. Yeah. Eventually we both, like after 2.5 years, it's like, yeah, all right, well, maybe not. Then we let it go, I got into graduate school then for clinical psychology. I went through my trials of like an experience of persecution anyway for my professors. Okay, you ask too many questions. You're shy, you're too shy and introverted. You don't talk enough in the clinical sessions we're observing. What the heck are you doing? You're sitting there listening. I'm like, yeah, if you only knew what I'm doing. And I didn't even know what I was doing, but I knew it was something. I knew something was going on. But nobody could figure it out. But they all marveled at how I was able to assess people. Like I just knew what was going on with people. Like that was my thing. So totally was a savant there. But yeah, they held me back from graduation and made me do remediations and all this stuff. And there was all this idea that I was too different. I was too weird. I needed to, conform. Basically, you're not conforming. You're not in the box we expect. So you're no good. Then I got my first job out of getting my graduate degree, fired in a month. So, I got so many signals. I was also told in graduate school, they didn't think I could be a therapist. They thought I was too awkward, too strange, too weird, too shy, no social skills in their opinion. So I had friends. I don't know what they're talking about. I had plenty of friends. So, your social skills suck. Okay, whatever. So, and they're right. I mean, they're right. They're right in certain ways, right? But they're kind of distorted. I'm like, yeah, I'm weird. Okay, but let's get on with it. So anyway, after all that happened, finally I started working with the chronically mentally ill. Whoa, now things are working. Now I make sense to people. Right? Because I think I can move things and blow things up. Well, my clients sure did sometimes. So we got along just fine. And I was able to normalize their experiences a lot. Oh, you're fine. And that bring a lot of empowerment to them, the way I was able to listen with them. So I went from like, you're no good to getting stolen away from another company that, wanting me on their team, and got a big raise and everything. And then you flourish, get in the right environment, the one that's right for you, then you flourish. And so that really demonstrated that to me. And I just kept owning my value all the way to getting online, creating a 6-figure business and multi-6-figure and all that stuff. But that's the next chapter in the story. I don't know when we want to get into that part. But what sparked me was really that we are tuned into something. We are tuned into this power, and that we aren't utilizing it. And when I discovered metaphysics in the 90s, I was like, finally, this is showing me what we could actually do with this power that I've been aware of all my life. And then I became kind of a little nuts with the idea of manifestation, like we do in the beginning, right? I can manifest one of those and one of these. I get kind of crazy about it, but I just started seeing like people they understand who they really are. They can really manifest what they're here to do and be and want to have, but as I deepen, it's more about the beingness than the well, can we manifestness? But then again, they all kind of fit together once you more deeply understand how it all works together, right? So anyway, I'll just be quiet right there, but like, yeah, that kind of gives you an idea.
Who actually helped you? It sounds like we kind of went through the big hairy monsters in there.
Yeah, there's some, yeah.
That was part of that. Who did you find that helped you, supported you, or guided you along the way?
That's a great question. Well, back then, nobody really. I mean, everybody I go to see, they just want to give you medications. Right? So,
Mhm.
my mom, though, I would say my mom, and then my dad did give me encouragement at times. So my parents, to a degree, but they were always like, whatever you want, you're fine. They weren't discounting my pain, but they just I don't know. So they did the best they could, as parents do, right? But they loved me. My mom did listen to me a lot. I felt like I listened a lot more to her stuff than mine, but God bless her, she was there for me 100%. So and then once I got into well, then I met Deb, my wife, and then I had a very significant relationship before that. And she was a big cheerleader in my life. She was just like, "You're the awesomest thing ever." And like, that's how she saw me. I mean, it just was, right? So that really gave me a sense of confidence too. And that was, of course, while I was studying metaphysics. I brought that right into my life, apparently. And then when I got with Deb, my wife of 17, 18 years now, and so, then it was just like she listens to me like nobody else has. I mean, a deep listening. And so that's been invaluable to me. And then, of course, coaches and healers and whatnot I've hired, and I'm sure many others. But yeah, I've needed support along the way, like everybody. I always say I'm lucky that I have Deb. She's worked together with me in the business to a degree. And then we need certain specialized support along the way. And to me, you have to hire people that you feel are the right true fit for you at each stage, whatever you need at that particular time. And you do whatever you can to secure that help and not come up with excuses. Well, it'll be too much in credit card debt, blah, blah, blah. You know what? Everybody goes into debt that ever makes any big impact in the world. Everybody goes into debt,
Right.
almost everybody. So don't give me you're going to go into debt. It's part of the journey. Get over it. Invest, follow your guidance. Don't tell me it was your guidance and then say you can't afford it. Usually not true. Usually it's something else, right?
Right.
So anyway, so yeah, you have to. That's what I really learned is you do whatever the guidance tells you.
Yeah. It's investing it forward.
Yeah.
You just don't pay for shiny objects because they're shiny objects.
Right.
You invest in things that are going to move you forward.
Right.
And that actually do something for you or your business to bring it to something that's working instead of something that's moving on maybe 2 cylinders and half a wheel.
Right.
you gotta invest in changing the tires. You gotta invest in the oil changes. You gotta move it forward somehow.
Once I get the money, then I'll drive the car with wheels on it, right? That's how insane it really. That's how insane it is. People don't understand. You have to have support. Yeah, if you just want a few clients or have a nice, whatever little business that you want to have, maybe you can get a buy. Maybe you can figure it out. But even then, a lot of people can't figure it out. A lot of people can't figure it out. And
if
then
it goes away, like the
You'll always
pandemic,
be limited. You'll always be limited, when you try to just get by, and even people like Lisa Sasevich is a big name people have heard of. She said, I tried to get by, I only got to mid 6 figures. See, like she couldn't even get to that level, but then she went to millions when she actually was willing to get help. So everybody, it's true. Everybody needs a mentor. I think people manipulate that a little bit though. Like, well, you need a mentor, so hire me right now. Like, it's got to be the right people at the right time. So you got to just kind of follow your guidance on that part of it.
Exactly. You've talked a little bit. Your wife is a big cheerleader. Your parents support you. Was there anybody along the way in your journey that was doubtful, shall we say? And how did you deal with it?
Oh, no, nobody's ever been doubtful. Well, even my wife was very doubtful about what I was doing because of the money, right? I wasn't making money for. I struggled mightily. I mean, I had 6-figure credit card debt, couldn't pay for bills, food for the family, anything, and nothing. I mean, we were about as down and out as possible. I mean, almost, as far as like, the scope of what most people experience, and, bankruptcy really, but like, I didn't do that. But so she was like, well, come on, it's time to get a job, isn't it? And all that stuff. And that's what the family thought. The family was starting to think, well, geez, why don't you get a job? What are you doing? It's not working. And at that time, even more so than other times in my journey, I was like, no, I am crystal clear. I'm succeeding. I don't know when or how, but I will succeed, because I was so rooted in the metaphysics of it. I'm like, I say I'm succeeding, it's going to happen one way or another. And it did, but it took the time it took. But yeah, there was lots of doubts about me all along the way in different ways. I shared some of those voices earlier. And then when I got into business, yeah, people question that a lot. Even to this day, even when I've made more money and done really well, like people still like, well, you're starving still, right? Because people still associate you with the old image they had of you, right? They can't comprehend that you've had this success. And it's so funny. People will meet you and they won't understand. Like, I remember somebody meet me and saying like, they just assume I'm like them. Oh, you don't make any money, right? Doing healing and coaching and stuff. Because I do all that sort of stuff too. And then they're like, I tell them like how much money I made. They're like, no way. How do I can't believe that. I'm like, yeah, no. I mean, it is sad. It is sad. So I'll just say this, and I'll give this a break. But it is sad when I go into a room. I went to this Suzanne Evans event. Okay, so I went to her speaking boot camp thing. And I went there and there's over 300 people in the audience. And what's sad is I was only one of 12 people in the room to stand up when they says, who in here has made multi six figures in a business? Only 12 people stood up in the entire room. Now that's sad. I mean, if you could make 100K, maybe you can pay your bills. It's not a big deal. Everyone goes six figures. I've done it too. But like, if you're not making multi six figures in your business after expenses, everything, you're not doing well. You're not really doing well.
Right.
So,
and you're not helping enough people.
Right.
That's the corollary. That's the other side of it. It's not just that you're not able to pay your bills and you're not making it. It's that you are limiting yourself in who you can help. And sorry, I get on my soapbox about that.
No, that's really great. That's a soapbox for both.
Right.
So that's been a big thing. And that's why I got into for years. I still am, but I had an academy specifically focused on healers. I was like, healers, this is ridiculous. You guys have such gifts. You give so much value, but you're not receiving that value back financially, and you don't have enough clients. So it's a perfect opportunity for me to go in the market, say, hey, you've got these abilities, you've got the power, to tune into people like I do. I train people in energy scanning and all this stuff and how to gain clients. And, by doing that, then I was able to help, at least hundreds, I always say thousands, because through all the trainings, everything I've done, I've helped bazillions, lots of people, and trained a lot more, hundreds, more deeply. I'm sure that's around the number after I do all the math, but and those people have had tremendous effects on other people's lives. So the ripple effect is massive. That's why I say, like, even in my business, I don't have a regular audience of millions of people, but I truly believe I've impacted millions of people, not just like through the ethers and all that. We all do that, but like directly through the impact of the people I've reached. And then some of them have gone on to do greater and greater things, right? So
exactly.
I think it's amazing the impact we can have if we're willing to step up to it.
Exactly. Perfectly said. I love it. Trick question here. Not really a trick question. It's sort of an extra question in here. If there's one thing that you do in your practice, in your business, that if you got a client who presented with something that allowed you to do X, what would that be?
What would it be?
Yeah, something that just lights you up, that you go, oh, goody, I get to do this.
So it might be something I already do, but it's like, oh, goody, I get to do this. I love that question. That's an ingenious question. You get to really understand, like, what's the part that you enjoy the most, perhaps. I actually think, like, really getting after people about how valuable they are, like really to rant on their value, I mean, to really fill them up. And part of that is like, then when I do the activation, when I do prayer activations, there's just something about my energy when I get into that alignment that really can, with the right people. I'm not saying it happens every single time, but like when I activate, like I've had clients, like they have a situation, whatever it is, and I just do a prayer, and I could just say it through my voice. Sometimes I don't even need to do all the prayer stuff, right? I can just, this is what's happening. It's like this, is like that, and then it just happens. It's just like I'm sending the signal. It's like, this is happening. This is real. And that also has helped people to take action sometimes too. And I'm like, that's it. You're filling up your calendar. That's it. And like, and when they're ready for that, if it's the right people, then it can activate them. If there's things going on, then I use my tools to love them and to work through the energies and with the skills I have to do that and bring them along. But ultimately, yeah, you've got to claim your value. You've got to step up. You've got to make offers. Those are the things. People aren't making offers. Okay, you're not going to make the money you want. If you don't claim the value, you're not going to make the money you want. If you want to make more than like a 6-figure business, you better scale. You better consider things like group programs, otherwise, and be high ticket enough with that too, and recurring enough so that you can scale to 6, 7, figures or more, or whatever. And then there's always more. But like, I'm just saying, like, where most people are listening in right now, like, you just have to do these foundational things. The cool thing is that's a goodie for me, is I can tune into somebody and figure out what it is that's authentic and true for them, that will light them up like a Christmas tree to do, rather than it's just like, I have to do this thing, I have to make it work, I have to do the stupid marketing and sales.
Right.
No, my whole thing is, we're going to make it as joyful and fulfilling as possible at every level for you. And there is a path for that. And then we dial that in and get that turned on and get that activated and then committed to that. And then they can see the results they're looking for.
And it works. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Love it. Thank you so much, Daniel. I love having you on the show. I love being able to bring somebody who is in the metaphysical world and has a successful business. I want to have that show up more. And I applaud you for taking that route and getting more folks out there who can make a difference and make a really good living. And that the two are not mutually incompatible. They are absolutely something that works. So thank you for being on my show and showing up as powerfully and, dare I say, as richly as you do. Bless you.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you so much. It's such a blessing. Thank you.
And thank you to my viewers and listeners of the Sweet Sound of Success. What are your dreams for your business? You know what drives me crazy? Really smart business owners denying their talents because they've been taught it has to be hard, because they've been taught that they don't deserve their gifts, that they're not worth anything. They've been taught that their gender means they can't express their genius. I'm Sue Wilhite, and I want you to have access to your genius. I want you to go out and rock the world with your genius. So I created the Call to Action coaching program. It's all about getting to the heart of you and what you've got to share with the world to make a profitable business that thrives and allows you to make a difference in the world. Click the link to sign up for the Call to Action coaching program today. Don't let your genius go unnoticed.